You tap your phone, transfer money to Tokyo. 3% vanishes instantly. Banks pocket $400 billion annually from this invisible tax. Why do we accept this? Why doesn't humanity just use one currency? The answer isn't what your economics professor told you. And the real reasons have shaped every war, every empire, every financial crisis for the last 3,000 years. Here's what actually happened when civilizations tried it, and why the most powerful people on Earth will never let it happen again. Ancient Rome built something extraordinary. The silver denarius connected 3 continents. One coin worked everywhere from Britain to Egypt. Traders loved it. Commerce exploded. For 3 centuries, this single currency powered the greatest economic engine the world had seen. Then, emperors discovered a dark trick. Emperor Nero needed cash for war, so he cheated. He reduced silver content by 20%. Nobody noticed immediately, but the game was on. Each emperor debased coins further. By 275 AD, Roman coins contained just 5% silver. The currency collapsed. The empire followed. China tried the exact same thing. The Han Dynasty bronze wuzhu lasted 700 years, one standard currency from 118 BC onwards. It worked beautifully until greed corrupted the system. Fast forward to the 1800s, Europe made another attempt. The Latin Monetary Union formed in 1865. France, Belgium, Italy, Switzerland agreed on common coin standards. Greece joined in 1867. Spain and Romania followed the specifications. Even French colonies in Africa adopted it. At its peak, this system stretched across multiple continents. The Scandinavian Monetary Union launched in 1873. Denmark, Sweden, Norway created the krone system. It functioned smoothly for decades. Banks accepted each other's notes at par value. No conversion fees, no currency risk. Both unions worked perfectly. Until World War I destroyed everything. Governments needed money for weapons. They printed currency without restraint. The carefully balanced system shattered. The Latin Union officially ended in 1927. Scandinavia held on until 1924. Notice the pattern? Every unified currency dies the same way. War forces governments to print money. Trust evaporates. The system breaks. Then came Bretton Woods in 1944. 44 nations designed the modern international monetary system. They pegged currencies to the dollar pegged to gold at $35 per ounce. Basically, a global gold standard with American characteristics. This worked brilliantly for 2 decades. World trade boomed, currency stayed stable. Exchange rates barely moved, but America had a problem. Vietnam War costs exploded. Great Society programs demanded funding. President Nixon couldn't pay the bills and maintain gold convertibility. So on August 15, 1971, he closed the gold window. The system collapsed overnight. Today, we live with the consequences. Floating currencies, wild exchange swings, $4 trillion traded daily, just moving money between currencies. Banks capturing enormous fees from every transaction. The European Union estimates countries save 13 to 20 billion euros annually by using the euro instead of separate currencies. So why doesn't everyone just adopt one global currency? The benefits seem obvious. Transaction costs disappear completely. Price transparency becomes perfect. Currency manipulation ends. Developing countries gain stability. Trade barriers fall. But here's the hidden truth your finance textbooks skip. Control over currency means control over your economy. When Greece faced crisis in 2009, it couldn't devalue to ease the pain. The European Central Bank made decisions for all Eurozone countries. Greece had to accept brutal austerity instead of managing its own monetary policy. Now imagine that problem at global scale. Who controls the world's central bank? Washington? Beijing? Brussels? Frankfurt? Every nation would fight for influence, because whoever prints the money holds ultimate power. During depressions, countries need monetary flexibility. The United States escaped the Great Depression by increasing money supply. Britain devalued the pound to boost exports. Japan manipulated the yen to maintain competitiveness. China has kept the yuan undervalued for decades to dominate manufacturing. Under a single currency, none of these moves are possible. You surrender your economic sovereignty completely. Rich countries might thrive. Poor countries would suffer catastrophically. One monetary policy can't serve Argentina and America equally. Can't balance Germany's surpluses with Greece's deficits. Currency is also military power. The United States weaponizes the dollar. Russia faces sanctions by being cut from dollar transactions. Iran struggles under dollar restrictions. China builds alternative payment systems to escape dollar dominance. No country willingly gives up this leverage. Then there's the dirty secret of international finance. Countries cheat. China bought $1 billion daily for years to suppress the yuan. This made Chinese exports artificially cheap. American factories closed. Jobs disappeared. Politicians screamed about currency manipulation. But what could anyone do? China controlled its own money supply. The European Union shows us the real cost. Southern countries like Italy, Spain, Portugal can't devalue during recession. They suffer higher unemployment instead. Germany runs massive surpluses while neighbors struggle. The system creates permanent winners and losers. Political tensions explode. Technology might change everything. Bitcoin demonstrated borderless digital currency. Central banks now develop digital versions of national currencies. China leads with the digital yuan. Europe plans a digital euro. These could enable instant global transactions without traditional banking infrastructure, but they still don't solve the fundamental problem. Who decides monetary policy? How do you balance conflicting national interests? What happens during asymmetric economic shocks? A global currency requires a global government. Throughout history, unified currencies emerged from political conquest. Rome imposed the denarius by military force. The British pound spread through empire. The dollar dominates because America won World War II. The European Union tried to reverse this order. Create the currency first. Let political integration follow. 20 years later, the experiment teeters constantly. Each crisis threatens breakup. Brexit showed how fragile monetary unions become without political unity. Here's what economists won't tell you. The current system isn't broken by accident. It's designed this way. Banks profit from currency exchange. Governments manipulate rates for advantage. Powerful nations use currency as a weapon. Nobody with real power wants change. A single global currency would eliminate corruption opportunities, kill banking profits, destroy economic warfare capabilities, and monetary manipulation. The establishment will never allow it voluntarily, so we accept the invisible tax, pay the conversion fees, absorb the exchange rate losses, while $400 billion annually flows to financial intermediaries who add zero real value. The world will never adopt one currency, not because it's economically impossible, but because it's politically unthinkable. Power, not logic, determines our monetary system. Your transfer to Tokyo just cost 3%. Multiply that by 8 billion people making international transactions. Now you understand why nothing changes. So here's your question to wrestle with. Would you trade your country's economic independence for cheaper international transactions? Would you trust a global monetary authority to prioritize your nation's interests fairly? What happens when your economy crashes but the world's central bank prioritizes different regions instead? Drop your thoughts below. Tell me if I'm missing something, because this debate isn't going away, and the answer matters more than most people realize.